I am live. Oh my goodness. And I feel so radiant right now. I just came out of a meditation, and I've got to tell you that it's so awesome because I've learned to open my mind to the true possibilities of what this and I started to ask because I wanted to make sure that the information that was within me flowed outwardly to you. And I wanted to make sure that the messaging was very effective and that I had total comprehension of what it was that I was going to be speaking to you about today. Because I understand that words, being very intentional with words, that words are really important. And the words that we use every single day are critical, not only in the way that we help others, but also in the way that we help ourselves, right? And I've talked to you a lot about failure, and I've talked to you a lot about the overcoming limiting thoughts. And really what it boils down to is it boils down to our subconscious. It boils down to our fight or flight response to everything. And do you want to experience pain or do you want to experience pleasure, right? And when something comes within you, there's a thought that you have that you really want to accomplish something. You tend to find that your thoughts will overrule what your intuition's telling you. And the reason why that is because a lot of us don't really pay attention to our intuitions. Welcome, Cody, and welcome, Eileen. Thank you for joining. You know, I'm just getting into intuitions and how we don't really focus on our intuitions when our intuitions are speaking to us about our beliefs. And the reason why is because we've been conditioned based on all of our experiences that we've had in the past. And those conditions tell us how we should respond going forward with things, right? So if we've been preconditioned to a certain response, then we're going to respond that way. Why? Because it's comfortable. It's comfortable. It's very uncomfortable to approach change. And it's very uncomfortable to go after something that you don't really know how that path leads you, or you don't know what's coming next, right? And so our fight or flight says, that's going to be painful, don't go after that. Or, yes, that's going to be awesome. Like I have these awesome beliefs on that I can accomplish that and I'm going to go after it. But there's these limiting thoughts that tend to pull us back. And so today I wanted to give you a couple of tips that I have on how I overcome that. And the first thing that I do, the first thing that I really ask of the universe or God or whatever it is that you want to call it, I ask for the answers. Welcome, Natalie. Thank you for joining. I ask for the answers, okay? But you have to ask a question first. And what is that question? The question that you have to ask the universe, ask God in prayer or in meditation, whatever it is that you subscribe to, whatever your belief tells you. Hey, whatever your belief tells you, you have to ask a question and then sit and contemplate that question in silence and let go of all of your thoughts that are accumulated in your brain that tell you not to go after that, right? And don't focus on that, but just listen to your intuitive self. Listen to what it is that you have inside of you that's telling you this is the first step, and this is the second step, and this is the third step. And after you come out of a meditation, or after you come out of your prayer, or after you come out of silent contemplation, write. Take a pen to paper and write down whatever thoughts are starting to race through your head. And the reason why is because what you've done is you've opened yourself to the limitless potential of what's coming through you. You've opened yourself to your inner wiser guide telling you what steps you have to take. And when you do that, your beliefs can be reformed because your beliefs now drive your actions. The actions that you wanted to take going forward are all driven based off of your belief systems. And if you really intuitively listen to what it is that you're trying to go after and your thoughts that are pressing you in that direction, then everything changes because you have more passion behind your actions. And then your actions lead to a greater result. And then that greater result tells you, hey, this worked out for me. Maybe I should do more of that. And so you start doing more of that. And then what happens is you repeat this cycle over and over and over again. So beliefs are everything behind intention. Beliefs beliefs, your beliefs are everything behind every single thing that you do every single day. You believe that you need to get up at a certain time during the day. You believe that you need to work out. You believe that you need to be a better parent. You believe that you need to do certain things. You believe that you subscribe to a certain way of thinking. You believe sometimes that you're going to fail at something, right? And what tends to happen when you allow those thoughts to press on through you, they tend to come back and they reveal themselves to you exactly as you wanted them to, exactly as you thought that they should. So how do we change that? Easy. We change by contemplation of what it is that we're trying to accomplish, quietly listening to our intuitive self, and then expressing that intuition by writing down notes of what it is that we get from our greater being, from our greater self. See, we have this awesome connection to the universe that a lot of people don't really realize that they have, because they don't teach you this stuff in school. They don't teach you this out in the real world, right? Everything's a control system. It's we go to work and we go through our day and we have all of these experiences, and God, I don't even know how to put it all together. And that's how we feel. We tend to come home and like like you kind of like want to just exhale, right? And sometimes we don't find that answer. We get frustrated, we get confused, and we stop listening to what's in here. What's in here is what's going to drive you. What's in here is what is going to make you take action. You've got to stop using all of this, because this, especially when you go into meditation, can be really cumbersome, right? It's like, oh, did I wash the dishes today? Oh, look at birds over there. Oh, I saw a squirrel today. Oh my God, I really had to do that project. Or, oh my God, I totally forgot to wash the clothes. Or all of these things tend to add up, right? And when that happens, what comes into your life? Hey, Martha, thank you for joining. What comes into your life? What comes into your life when you experience all of that? It's like you can't silence your brain, and then you get frustrated, and then things tend to weigh down on you. And it's when we step outside of that frustration, when we step outside of the madness of the world that's around us, and we go inside, that's where we find our true inner peace. That's where we find the ability to take those inner beliefs and to force action on ourselves so that we start acting in a way that is in congruency with your true path. And it is when you focus and you intently remember and put pen to paper about what your inner intuition is telling you, that's when the magic happens. That is when you excel and exceed and go way beyond your wildest goals and way beyond your wildest visions. And I'm telling you, this is not some made up stuff, man. This is real stuff. And you have to be willing to actually quiet your mind. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, but come out of it knowing that the question that you asked before you went into this thought, into this quiet expanse, that the answers you're receiving are the answers that come from you, from your greater wisdom. Trust that. And then listen to those thoughts and let your actions be the echo chamber to the world that I am going to accomplish this, or I am going to receive the right information, and I am going to succeed at whatever it is that I set my mind to. And you could do this all day long for every single situation that you have. I don't care what it is, but you've got to learn to trust in here. And when you do that, you become the true essence of what we are intended to be, which is connected eternally to our greater source and effectively driving in the world what our calling is and what we are here for. What are you here for? What are you intended to do on this earth? Whose message? Who needs to hear your message today? And then do that with unending passion. Do that every single day, as much as you can, with whoever you can, and share your gifts with the world. Because when you do, you expand even further, and you bring more of what you wanted in the world back to you. It is the greatest feeling ever. And your beliefs And how you go about doing that all start from one place. Right here. Right inside. Listen to that. Listen to that with everything that you have. Try it for just one day. I beg of you, try it. Sit in contemplation, ask a question, quiet the mind, and then write down what intuitions you get, and then execute. And I promise you, your life will never be the same. And then once you do that and you experience that, I'm going to give you a job to do. You have to share it, because you have now learned the secret to how to make your life the way that you want it. And you have an obligation to share that with the rest of the world, just as I'm doing with you, because this is my obligation. And I will always do everything that I can to make sure that I give my best and that I listen to my intuitive self and provide that information to the rest of the world, because I want nothing but the best for you. And I hope that you think the same. So I wanted to hit on a couple of comments because I saw some. So thank you guys for interacting with me. Natalie, you said, oh my gosh, so hard to just sit in silence. I know, right? And the reason why that is, that's because your subconscious mind and your conscious mind work together, right? So your subconscious mind is where your pre-programming is put it. Think of it this way. When you're driving a car and you forget how you got from point A to point B, the reason why that is because you've learned over time by repetition how to press the gas pedal, how to hold on to the steering wheel, how to stay in your lane, how to not crash into somebody because that hurts, right? So we want a pleasurable situation, and so we learn programming so that our lives become easier. And it almost becomes something that we just do intuitively, right? Well, the thing about it is you've learned a program. And so what happens is the conscious mind works as a filter. The subconscious mind runs these programs all day long. Yes, we run like computers. And the conscious mind says, that's not right. That is right. And it actually aligns itself with what we believe. So if we hear something that we don't agree with, it shuts that down and it moves over to what we really believe in. And then we start focusing on that. Okay. And so your conscious mind does not want to let go of control. It absolutely doesn't. So what happens is you start hearing all this chatter in your head, especially when you're trying to go into meditation. And that's because your ego wants to hold, it wants to grip. And we have to learn. And one of the things that I've learned in meditation, and I'm sharing another nugget with you guys, is when these thoughts come into my head, oh, dude, I didn't wash the dishes today. I put that thought in a balloon. And if you've ever watched a balloon go up into the sky and fly away from you, think about what that looks like. How it takes a long time and it kind of wisps around with the wind and it changes direction. If you think about your thoughts that way, accept that your thoughts came. Like, thank them for coming into your head. It's like, don't reject them because it's just going to pile on more, right? Accept that they're in your mind. Thank them. Remember it for later because you're going to have to complete that task. Put it in a balloon and let it go. And every single thought that you think of while that's going on, let it go. And eventually, your conscious mind is going to let go. And it's not going to hold on anymore. You're going to notice that the thoughts are going to slow down. And it's in that space when you become amazing and you become full of these intuitions that we're talking about in this video. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate that you brought that up. Yeah, you love the idea of writing after meditation. Pray. Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's where we become great, is when we put pen to paper. And what ends up happening sometimes is we tend to forget. We forget that if we go into meditation and we come out of it and we have all these brilliant ideas, or maybe you had a thought that passed through your mind as you were in meditation, and it passes through and you don't write it down, or if you had a dream that you needed to do something and you don't write that down, what tends to happen is you'll experience a challenge. And that challenge will tell you, hey, remember when I gave you this intuition and I told you to approach this way and you didn't listen? Well, now this challenge is going to be faced in front of you because this is a lesson that you have to learn because you didn't listen to your intuitive self to do it this way. And had you done it this way, you would have made different decisions. Your actions would have been different and would have led you to a completely different outcome. So It is critically important that when you come out of that immense state of connection with the universe and the eternal knowledge of your soul in connection with everything around you, that's when you could really, really, really bring magic into your life. So thank you so much for providing that. Eileen, the answer is there. Yeah, you just have to be quiet. Everything else in our heads have to listen. That is so true. You have to quiet everything. Absolutely. As Natalie had mentioned earlier, it's all about quieting the mind. And it's all about quieting those limiting thoughts. It's all about quieting that programming that we've learned that tells us that we're not capable. Because you know what? That's living in a world that doesn't really exist. Your mind will tell you that you're not capable because it doesn't want to experience the pain of failure. But if we reprogram our brain and we say to ourselves, you know what? It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. I have to actually do things in order to accomplish this. And while it may not be hard, it doesn't mean that I can't do it. As long as I listen to my intuition and I write down my steps of how I'm going to accomplish that, and I take action on each and every one of those things that I write down, there's a great possibility that I'm going to accomplish what it is that I set out for. And if I don't accomplish it, I have steps written down so I can actually take that and apply it into the next thing that I go after. Or I go back and I fix what I did and try it a different way so that I can now accomplish that. And then you move on from there. It's all about putting one foot in front of the other. So if you can quiet the mind, listen to your intuitive self, and apply that knowledge of writing down every single step or every intuition that you get, I promise you your life is going to change. Don't ever forget how powerful you are. Don't ever forget how important you are. Don't ever forget your power that you have within you. Don't ever forget that, because you have something to share with the world. You have amazing opportunities now with our connection points with social media. You have amazing connection points with your personal interactions with people, picking up the phone and talking or having a one-on-one conversation in person. We can all affect great amount of change in this world. We just have to slow down a little bit so that we can pay attention to that. And in slowing down a little bit, I mean going within and truly knowing yourself and connecting to that inner being that's within you and knowing that you have greatness within you. You just have to act. You may not be perfect at first. You may not be perfect after the 5th time or after the 10th time or after the 20th time or after the 50th time. But you'll get it eventually. Just keep doing what you need to do. Keep doing what your intuition's telling you. And I promise you things will eventually start to move and momentum will grow and you will expand beyond anything that you ever thought possible. That is within your grasp because you have complete control over your actions. Thank you and be great today and be great every day. And thank you for your interactions. I really appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and always give your best because I will always give mine. I appreciate you. Take care.